Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Traveling Showbunnygirl vlog. Today I'm starting with my phone on my hand because I want to show you what I'm doing, and I'll just record the vlog while I'm doing it. So I'll give you a mix of hints on how to rhinestone because that's what I'm doing, and whatever I come up with while I talk. It's a vlog after all. So first, let me show you what I'm doing. I have this duet coming up with one of my girls, and I've been rhinestoning some fabric, and this fabric is a rhinestone, really. Because one first hint is actually I like to rhinestone on top of this. This is a silicone baking sheet because it doesn't stick, and I hear that baking paper also works. But I like this one is very sturdy and I can carry around. And once I put this one here on top and then I start gluing it, it sticks a little bit, but then I remove it and then I put it back again so I can rhinestone the next part. And of course, the glue is still on the silicone sheet, so it gets a little bit on the fabric. I don't think it's visible, but yeah, it bothers me. That's my cat. And then also, this is the bra and what it looks like right now. It's one of those removable cups, and I will continue rhinestoning it. Also, I have my headpiece, and I'm doing now my girl's headpiece. So it's kind of she's the sun, I'm the moon. Um, yeah, right. So I'll just put you up here, and yes. So first thing that I would highly recommend if you could do, if you have space at home, like big space, definitely go for keeping a room for rhinestoning. If you have the space to do that at home, I know many people have a spare room. Maybe if you have a little office or something, I would definitely have a room for that. Um, I don't, so I give you alternatives, of course, as always. So what I do, I'm not doing that right now, because I kind of like the vibe of the room I am, but I have a table in my other room, and it's one of those small like tables that I can move up and down, but really, really small. Maybe this big. And this is my, oh, now it has some other costume there. Yes, that's why. It is my assigned kind of rhinestoning table. So whenever I have a rhinestoning job, I will just keep it there. Because one thing that I will tell you, especially if you have like a full-time job and other things happening, it's very important that you don't waste time when you have it. And a big time waster is having to set everything so you can work. If you have to pack all of your rhinestones back into their bags and then pack everything, and then the next day you come to rhinestone and you have to do it again, it's gonna take you a good 15 minutes to sit and be able to start rhinestoning. And actually, if you just leave everything as it is on the table, you can just come back the next day and you gain 15 minutes, like rhinestoning. And if you know, we have waves, if you are like me. So at some point, I don't rhinestone for a while because I don't have much going on. And at some points, I have to. Now it's beginning of season, so I'm kind of rhinestoning like crazy. And yeah, so I like to have this table assigned for my rhinestoning job, so I can just wake up in the morning when I have the time, go straight to my table and start rhinestoning. My cat's speaking to me. I think it thinks I'm speaking to it. I'm still not very happy about this. So this is a headpiece made of this, this plastic straps that you can get. Here's the camera. You know, those that they use to tie people up when you were kidnapped in movies. Yeah. So they work really well for headpieces, and this is actually not a headpiece. This is gonna be for the hair, you know. So the bun is gonna come in here, so it's gonna look like this, in fact. But of course, you can actually make it really big, you know, like to fit your hair. But I don't know. I don't think it's sparkling enough. And I think it's these stones, so I'll add a different type of stones soon. So for now, I'll just keep that on the side because I want to do something else. But yeah, I think it's this stone is not really sparkly, not as much as I wanted to. So yeah, I'll see. Um, and then my other hint for this, and I know some people ask me how I rhinestone, so I also wanted to film a little bit the process. I had some students asking this. And as much as you can, you know, I avoid having to put my stones back in the bag because that also takes a while. And well, I do have some time, you know, like performing and teaching and everything. That's my full-time job. But I know that most people have other jobs, so you're not gonna have as much time as I do to do that. So you really, really have to be smart about your time. So one way that you can do things really quickly and nicely is to have, let me just always cut your labels, by the way. Even, you know, the labels that stay inside. So the rule is always cut the labels, always, 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 unless it's a designer piece. If it's a designer piece and you might want to resell it, you know, in the future or something, you never know. You know, labels are important when it's a designer piece. So if you have like a Gucci costume or whatever, you know, of course, or you know, like in performing terms, if you have a Catherine Delish, of course, keep the label. But otherwise, always cut them, even if they stay inside, because sometimes you can't tell. But there will be maybe a shade here if you have the label, even if you're on stage and the label is here, there will be the shade of the label, right? And you don't want that. So here, so my hint here is to have appliques. So this one has some sparkle to it, not much. It has some sequins. And then you can use this to help you guide your rhinestoning, but also to give you a head start. So you can always, so I'm gonna sew it here to this side. And then I have a start, you know, and then from here I'm gonna do a rain shower kind of rhinestone. So more here and fewer. And of course I will follow. So another thing is, whenever you have this kind of lines, always follow them to rhinestone. If they are elastic, make sure they are stretched. So use a pillow or something to stretch. And if you have lace, do both, you know, try and rhinestone following the lace, especially the thicker, you know, parts of the lace. Because one thing is, if you rhinestone lace too much, you know, it starts to break. This one is actually pretty sturdy, so I'll probably rhinestone it more. But don't always rely on the lace because it can be very delicate and break easily. Yes, so the one thing I wanted to show is here for the bra. So the bra is getting pretty heavy now, I noticed, but it's very pretty. Yeah, I love it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start rhinestoning the side. And someone asked me, you know, how I do that. So probably try and move the camera so you can see it here. So you can see what I'm doing. But what I need to do first is I need to put some buttons because this fabric here will go on top. So this fabric will go on top of the bra. So at first you can see it all kind of like this. And we were just tucking it in before, but it's not working. So actually what I have to do right now is I need to do a few buttons here just to make sure it stays in place. Just kind of extra secure, you know, like I'll have maybe 2 buttons and that will be enough just to make sure it will stay. So I'll do that first, and then I will give you a zoom in on how I do the rhinestone. So let me do just one side so I can actually speak while I do this. And I've been thinking, about like, oh yeah, what can I talk about in this vlog today? And one of the things that came up to me, and always as it's a vlog, it's based on what's kind of happening right now for me. And in my case, it's definitely time management. So I will tell you a big blooper that I did. And I'm, as I told you before, I have to be really organized with things. And I've been planning for next year already, and I'm working on some very exciting things. And of course, I'm planning like months and months in advance. And one of the things that I did for this semester is July, for example, and that was kind of the first time that I managed to do that. I'm 3 years into owning my studio, so now I can tell you that I understand mostly, the waves. You have to understand, when students enroll, when what to do, like every month is different. But once you understand that, you can move on. And I feel like I just did. So one of the things that I did was like, wow, I'll be very organized, and then I'll plan for my year. And I planned, for my second semester, and I did. And I was like, yeah, so I need rehearsals with my students, and then there is this show, there is this weekend, and many times, as you know, kind of performing and the studio is my full-time job. But if you think about it, it's two different jobs. Many performers either just perform or they have another job and perform, and the studio is almost like my other job. Of course, there is way more overlaps than another job, but still, it's something else. If I'm working on my studio, I'm not working on my performances. And so I had my calendar, I had all the festivals I was going to, and some was not confirmed, but I had the weekend, so I was like, I'm saving this weekend anyway. And then I was like, okay, this weekend I'm in town, so I will book a rehearsal here for this weekend. And then, oh wow, this class, I think because it's such a tough choreography, I will have people coming also on Sundays. So instead of twice, I was gonna offer 2 hours. Instead of 2 hours, I want to give them, I think they had 4, instead of 4 hours, a month, like most classes, 1 hour a week, I'll offer them 6 hours a month. And so that means that I'll have some Sundays, in which they have to come. And then I did, and then I booked all of my workshops for the semester, which was a great idea. I even like international performers coming for workshops, all booked. Amazing. And by half of July, I had it, and I had it so well planned that I put a calendar event at my studio. Everybody knows what's going on. And then, okay, summer goes on, and summer break, and then we're back, and then I'm back full on, right? During summer, I did teach fewer classes, intended, of course, and then it comes back. And then I start working on my calendar, and then I realize my big blooper. I don't think I scheduled a single 2-day weekend for myself. I didn't. I think if I did, it was one, and by the way, it was by accident, which shouldn't be, right? Resting just one day is really not enough, especially for me. And I don't mostly work Mondays, but that doesn't mean that I don't work on Mondays. I still work on Mondays. I just don't teach on Mondays. I still reply to emails, write newsletters, and do all this kind of thing. And then now, it comes like the first festival, you know, that by the way, I'm still working on the video with all of the things that I filmed over the weekend of the festival. I'll share soon. I'm just having trouble with the music, but I'll have that solved. And oh my god, I'm tired. So tired, so tired. And I noticed because, you know, my mood gets really low. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. And I'm like, I don't have days off, pretty much. I'm fully planned and so organized and no days off. Of course, I have my trips, but again, you know, I'm going to a wedding this weekend, for example. So I will relax a little. But you know, it's different from a weekend in which you can just relax at home. No time to wake up, no time to get off bed, and you know, it's different. And I didn't book any of this, so lesson learned. For next year, which as I told you, I'm planning right now. I'm not changing much because things are working. The other cat. But definitely, I'll make sure that I'll schedule myself at least every other weekend, a double weekend, you know, double day free, or at least once a month if every 2 weeks is not possible. But now I have that in mind. Crazy, right? Cool. So let me bring you down here so I can show you what I'm about to do. Um, yes, I'm not sure what the best way to do it is, but I hope it's kind of like this. So I'm gonna place the camera right here. Yes, maybe from here you can see. So I just put the button down here, so it's good. And I will remove this so I have more space to do what I want to do. And I'll this so the camera will face down. So here is the place where I'm gonna rhinestone right now. So people ask me what I do. So first, this is the glue, which you probably know, the E6000. And please make sure you have Febrifuse, which is not my favorite. I did prefer the industrial one, but this one is safer for you. So please use this one. So what I do is it has this little applicator here, which is the thing that I don't like actually, because it gets stuck every day, even though I clean it before I close it. Every day, you know, it gets a little stuck, and then I have to pull the glue out of it, and then sometimes it gets really stuck. So I feel like I waste a little time doing it. And again, you don't want to waste your time, right? You want to use your time wisely. So let me see if he has already done that. No, it's good. No, okay. So I actually like to use this tweezers, but if you have one of those wax pens, that's what I would do. My stones are right here next to me, so I have some stones here. I want to do like 2 sizes of purple, maybe even 3 sizes. Yeah, maybe let me get the big one. So I'm doing 16, 20, and 30. Let me just get the 30s here. So this is the 30. Yeah. 30? No, this is 20. Yeah, but I think 20 is actually big enough. So I'll do 20, 16, and 12. So then what I do is I start to do the glue like this. So I will do a few dots here. You know, I'm dotting. I usually go for 10, but I've been practicing to do a few more. And this glue is actually quite runny, so it doesn't dry that quick. So I can get away with a few more dots. So you see, these are all the dots with the glue. And then I just go and grab my stones with this. And let me move it a little more so you can see the stones. And then I grab the stone and place. And then I kind of go for a little different sizes. So I try not to put 2 of the same size together. I think I have the 20 and the 12 right now here separate. So you just go on each of the dots and then you place them. And then I do a little put there and a little push on top so it stays. And first I will start with just this color, and then I will add a few shades. So I will do first this, and I kind of wanted to get the this is a 16 for sure, so I think I have some mixed here, 20, 12, and 16. And then you keep going until you have all of the dots that you have done. If they dry up, you just put more glue, you know, it's not a big deal. Every fabric will be a little different, but most fabrics will behave okay. So you see, now I put one on every single one of the dots that I made. And then I will do, let me see, I think these are 12. And then I'll bring some of the smaller ones, actually, of my stones. And then this thing you can see here is just the thread that I was using. So I will just do here until the end so you can see. And then I want to show you how I do. So then you put more dots. And you see, I don't have a special pattern for now, especially because it's kind of small place. I just put them everywhere. So here you can see the glue, and then I just put the stones. And for now, I'm going a little random. And I actually find that they look pretty good random when you are doing. So this one that I'm doing is kind of fully rhinestone, but not encrusted. The other day I was writing this, by the way, for my book. And I was like, encrusted. How do you spell it? Is it with an E or is it with an I? And I wasn't sure, so I Googled it, and I was like, oh man, English. Encrust is with an E, the verb, but encrusted, the adjective, is with an I. Or is it the other way around? I don't remember, but each one is spelled in a different way. It's like, oh, English. Cool. So here we have it. Then I wanna do, so what I've been doing on the cups of the bra is at the top, I have mostly brighter stones, and at the bottom, the darker ones, because I want to have this effect on stage. So for the lighter ones, what I have is this stone here. And this is kind of a mix. So it has some, let me bring it up here. It has some shade, you know, depending on how the light hits, it's a little purple and a little yellow. And that's really cool because our act is like, I'm wearing purple and my partner is wearing yellow. So we were very lucky to have these stones, and I think they're topaz or something, she told me, but I don't remember. So I want to have some of these mixing with the top. So what I do now is I go with the glue between, you know, like the ones that I already have, and you have to be careful just to make even smaller dots, just kind of to fill up, you know, the little gaps. And then here I'm gonna go with this, let's say yellowish stones. And these are quite small. So actually what we do is when you buy them, you can buy these stones in a pack that comes with any size between 2 and 20, I think. And if you need more glue, just put more glue. And it's very fidgety, yeah. So you have to maybe use your nails, or I know that the pencil can actually do a pretty good job, but I never liked it. So when I noticed that my tweezers have a little glue on them, I kind of start using the glue as if it was a pen. So instead of grabbing my stone, I just stick them to the little glue that's left like this. And then I place them where I want. And then because it has more glue on the fabric, it will probably stay on the fabric. Probably. That doesn't happen all the time, actually. So sometimes you have to be really creative, and it can be very tiring, actually. And now I'm recording this vlog, of course, but you could be watching, like your favorite show on Netflix or whatever. I like to watch YouTube, so whatever you want to watch. So here you see, so I added a few of those. And now I want darker ones for the bottom. So I already have them here because I don't think I even brought the bag. But then I will do the same thing. So they're already here on the side. So I will put some of the glue on the spots in between. Like this. Yeah. And then I'm gonna grab the stones, the darker ones, and then I'll start placing them here. And these are also, I think they're amethyst. I'm not sure, but it's kind of a shade darker of the purple that I had. And yeah, of course there is different ways you can do it, as in you can get, like the dark on top and the brighter one at the bottom. But this is the effect that I wanted. Also, you can create different shapes. So of course the bra is a bit too small for it, but I'm gonna rhinestone my corset eventually. And yeah, I think after I come back, after this show that I'm rhinestoning for right now, because for that one I kind of want to create a little shape. So I'll probably have I want to help create a more hourglass shape for my body. So I will have the stones placed in a way that the darker stones kind of point towards the hips. So it can give me a more hour shaped glass. So now I have it. So you can see here the stones that I did first, and then the brighter and then the darker. And now I kind of do that again because I can still, like see the gaps. And the glue starts to do this thing here. It's so annoying. I really, really, really don't like this applicator. I know that some people actually move the glue to a syringe, and then it might be easier to do it. I just try and keep it in the original package. So now I will do a few more dots. And again, always in between the ones that I already have. So it starts to get a bit tricky because the gaps, of course, get smaller and smaller. But that's the goal. And then I'll do here. So I put more dots in between. You can kind of see in the camera. And then now I'll go for a bit brighter on top. And then I think I'll also mix with one of the smaller purples. So it stays purple and it doesn't become, golden. Because these stones are definitely I think they're more golden. I think they're supposed to be more golden than purple. There you go. Here. And I want to avoid the stones actually touching one another. So I want to keep the effect, of having a little space between them. You can go for encrusted, which means that the stones will be like no gaps between them. They will be always touching each other. But honestly, it's so much work. And then you can do the way I'm doing it. But I would cover less space, I would say, like I would probably have this tiny bit on top done first. And then with way more stones. No, this one is way too big for it. Let me get a smaller one. Because I don't want them touching, as I said, and this one was touching. And then going down, I'll go back to here, more regular purple. smaller purples. And sometimes it grabs two stones, especially when it gets like, wet by the glue. So yeah, it kind of requires a little patience. You can actually hire people to do this for you. But as it's laborious, but it's not difficult. So if you can get into the hang of doing that yourself, you're gonna save yourself a lot of money. What I do is I hire people to do the harder jobs. So for example, for the corset, I got it custom made for me because even if I learned how to make a corset at the level of skill that I would want for my corset, would be so much higher than I could manage to get to in like half a year. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it. But then I had it delivered the way it is, and then I'll do the rhinestoning myself. Because rhinestoning is definitely, of course, it's also skill, but it's a skill that you can develop much quicker than sewing a corset. Like sewing is already a skill that will take forever to develop. And sewing, like at this level of being able to sew a corset, like, yeah, don't have time for that. And my rule of thumb is I always also tell people that do the things that bring you more joy, and use your resources wisely. So, what do you have? Do you have time to do things really well because you don't want to do these things like in a rush? Then use it. This is the resource you have. So, spend more time doing those things. Learn how to do it. Do you enjoy sewing? Then, well, go for it. Then learn how to sew stuff because then you can do that yourself. Learn how to, instead of sewing, you can actually alter stuff. That's definitely easier. And I think most performers do it. You just, instead of sewing something from zero, you buy something similar to what you want, and then you just alter it a little bit. So this even I can do. Or if you don't have time to do that, then maybe you have the money to do it. Then go for it. Even if you don't have it like full right now, save for it. And then get someone to do the things you don't enjoy. I always tell people, after all, this is still a hobby. So you want to keep it enjoyable. You don't want to hate it. Your life doesn't depend on it. I always tell, sometimes I remind my students of that when they start taking things way too seriously. I'm like, this is a hobby. Of course, I want you to be able to make money off your hobby. Yeah. But still, are you gonna die if you don't do that? No. So don't take it like that. Don't take it as if it's a matter of life or death. And honestly, I think everything is better if you enjoy it. So I'm just putting more glue at some small gaps that I'm seeing. And then I'll do this smallest stones and then I'll show you what I have. And so the video is already half an hour long, but also I had to take some time sewing. But I would say it took me 20 minutes to do this, more or less. So as you can see, it takes a while. Plus it needs to dry. And I've seen some poor rhinestoning jobs, like, don't do it. I always tell my girls, it takes longer than you think. You cannot rhinestone stuff the day before. So start early. There you go. So this is what I have now. And for now, I'm pretty happy with this because it's very similar to the cup, right? So it's kind of the same amount of stones that I have here. So I'll leave like that for now. But that's it. So you see, I'll go and put more and more stones. I start with really sparse and then I start filling in the gaps. And then when I have the cup on top, I'll have a good part covered anyway. So it's gonna look like this, you see? So this thing here that you see like empty, you won't be able to see afterwards. I'll actually put some stones here because we take these off, so you'll actually be able to see this. So add some stones here, but that's it. So yeah, I think I'll stop the video here because it's already 35 minutes and you got the gist. So thank you so much for watching and see you soon.